I got one more award, and then I'm going to have these gospel singers tear up. They keep passing me notes that I can't take an offering, so I'm going to just go on to the next award. You know, getting all these folk in the room and they ain't paid to get in make me want you to pay to get out, but I'll let it go. It's against my raising, but I'll let it go. Isaiah and his wife will tell you, Jesse didn't teach me that now. Jesse would have been raised 2 offerings by now. Y'all see all these cameras out here, it's because we have the media wizard herself, Rachel Nordlinger. Stand up, Rachel. All of the National Action Network board members that are here stand. We don't do this by ourselves. All our board members stand. Dawn Jones, whose birthday is today. Reverend Johnny Green, Reverend Steffi Bartley, all our staff members, National Action Network staff, Derek Perkison, William Allen, where's Reverend? All our staff. We have a good staff. We have people at work. Stephen Marshall, he's running around here. All of our staff, we love them and appreciate them, and they do a great job. I wanted to say that because our last award goes to an activist that I've known a long time. Comes out the West Coast. I remember when President Obama had appointed him, they went and dug up some left-wing stuff they claim he wrote. And he said, rather than get in a fight, President Obama, let me do something else. It takes a lot to get up. It takes even more to step down for the bigness of the cause. He went on not knowing what would happen, and because of his stand, he became a symbol and a hero to many of us that call ourselves progressive. He does a show on CNN. He was the one that innovated the First Step program. He called me one day and he said, Reverend Al, I want you to support this legislation. I said, he's going to get folk out of jail. He said, wait a minute. He said, but I'm letting you know now I'm going to have to work with some of the people on the right wing. I said, well, I don't care if we got to get them out of jail. I said, I'll work with it. Now, you going out front. I ain't going out front with it. But I got your back. That's the most worst whippings I ever got, when they put me out front, somebody had my back. But he took the heat and stood there and convinced Jared Kushner and others as they worked, Cory Booker in the Senate and some of the Republicans, Hakeem Jeffries was a member then, and they got this where now thousands are getting out of jail because of this brother. And of course, after getting it done, Donald Trump flipped and took and attacked him. And I called him and said, don't worry about that. We know Trump. Trump is just Trump. Just keep going. I'm not going to use this tonight to criticize President Trump because it's my birthday this month. And I would not, as I celebrate 65 years, talk about that sick racist in the White House. We'll do that another night. How we shame he come from New York. I'm not going to put that on Van. How he ain't never been no good to us. But I won't even bring that up, Bishop Jordan. It's not the night. We're celebrating. We're triumphant tonight. We're not going to talk about the tragedy. We're going to talk about the triumph. We're talking about awards, not impeachment. Y'all knew this was Al Sharpton before you come in here. You know I'm going to say what I got to say. But I want you to know this is a real brother. He gets hit from the left and the right, but he keeps on going. Because if nobody is talking about you, it's because you're not doing nothing. And if you are moving the dial, you are making some people uncomfortable. Martin Luther King said it is our job to make the comfortable uncomfortable and to make the uncomfortable comfortable. And nobody symbolizes that more than the CEO of Reform, CNN political commentator and host of the Van Jones show on CNN. Our next honoree has been a leader in the fight for criminal justice reform for more than 25 years. He has founded and led many thriving social enterprises, including the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights, Color of Change, and Dreams course, a social justice accelerator that houses Yes We Code, Green for All, and Cut 50. The organization that recently led the charge in passing the First Step Act, a bipartisan federal bill that New York Times calls the most substantial breakthrough in the criminal justice system in a generation. Educated at Yale, he's an attorney, author of New York Times best-selling book, The Green Collar Economy, Rebuild the Dream, and Beyond the Messy Truth. In 2009, he was the Green Jobs Advisor to President Barack Obama, where he helped to lead the interagency process that oversaw the multi-billion-dollar investment in skills job programs. He has been a real giant and a real brother and a real friend, and I want you to help us honor our last awardee tonight, but certainly not the least, Brother Van Jones.
This means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. I got a lot to say about Reverend Al Sharpton, but before I do, nobody does anything by themselves. Nobody gets anywhere by themselves, and nothing gets accomplished by any individual. It's always teamwork that makes the dream work. And what I want to say is that that First Step Act was a tough thing to get done, but I had the best mentorship, counseling, and advice you can possibly have with Reverend Sharpton. And what he said was, keep your eyes on the prize. Every time we hang up the phone, he'd say, hang in there, brother, keep your eyes on the prize, click. You know, and that's when I knew the conversation was over. But as a result of that bill, 7,000 people have come home. 7,000 people have come home. We have restored 115,000 years of human freedom. In other words, that's a big number. When you add up all the sentences that were recalculated, all the people who came home, all the sentences that were shortened, Jesus died 2,000 years ago. 115,000 years of human freedom restored because we stayed in the fight. And one of the people who was behind bars, who was suffering, who was struggling, who was trying to hang on to hope, who 2 weeks ago was in a hell that we call federal prison, and 2 weeks ago was facing a life sentence. Because of the First Step Act, he is on this stage and he has life. Please give a round of applause to my brother, Kenneth Richardson. Right here. When we fight, we win. 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 So,
man, I'm grateful. I mean, for the organization, they gave us hope. They made us feel that we wasn't alone. And through that, I'm standing here in front of y'all today, man. I thank you.
And then I just want to say one more thing. a brother who did 14 years in prison. And when he came out, he went in without a high level of education. He educated himself behind bars. He read so many books, they ran out of books for him. And could have done anything, came out, became a clinician. He's helping in the community. But when he found out about this fight, having done 14 years in federal prison, he stopped everything that he was doing, and he joined with us. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm very proud of myself. I have a good education. I got a law degree. I've done, hey, listen. But it's a different thing when you know what you're fighting against and you know what people have been through. And this brother has got no credit. He's got no attention. He's got no glory. He's got no fame. I've gotten all the credit. But this brother worked circles and circles and circles around the attorneys. Give it up for Brother Lewis Reed, who won the fight. He won the fight. This brother won the fight.
One of the things that I learned from Van Jones is that those who are closest to the problem are also closest to the solution, but furthest from resources and power. And so he took people such as myself, people who had been, whose life had been diminished from a federal prison sentence, and he put us at the front of advocacy. And he said, we are going to support you. We want you to lead this effort. And I'm grateful to have this man as my brother, as my mentor, and as my big uncle, Van Jones.
So I say that, but I wanted you to hear from I think some people think I was born on the set of CNN or something. Or I was born in the Obama White House, or I was born at Yale Law School. I was born in Jackson, Tennessee. My father was raised in a shotgun shack, born in segregation and poverty in Orange Mound, Memphis. And he fought his way out of poverty, joined the military to get out of poverty. And then when he got out, he put himself through college, a little black college called Lane College. And he married the college president's daughter, because my dad had it like that. And then they put my Uncle Milton through college and my cousins through college. Everybody who came out of poverty my family on this bridge called my father's back. And when he died, my father died, the picture they put on the funeral program was my father, Willie Anthony Jones, standing in front of Yale Law School the day I graduated with his hands in the air saying, we told you, we told you, we told you. We can do anything. Get your boot off our neck, we can do anything. And so that's why, even though I had opportunities, I said, if everything my father did coming from nothing, I got to do something with this opportunity. So I moved to the Bay Area, and I saw so much racism and so much brutality, and we had no direction. I was young, I had dreadlocks down my back, I had a law degree, I had no direction. And what you don't understand in New York is the impact of Al Sharpton globally. That's what you don't understand. You don't understand it. We had nobody to look to, nobody we could relate to, nobody understood what we were going through, and nobody who was winning victories at that level. There have been victories before, but you can only read about the 50s and 60s for so long. You have to have a present leader. You have to have somebody right now who's fighting and winning as a young person to know what to do. And we studied everything. I mean, listen, I've got clips from USA Today where he was interviewed right now. And we would cut out the articles. We would read everything that he did. And we patterned ourselves in the Bay Area after Al Sharpton. And then he wrote a book called Go Tell Pharaoh that detailed everything he had done. We read that book so many times it was embarrassing. I mean, we literally read the pages out that book. And we built our own organization, the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights, and patterning ourselves after Al Sharpton. We were able to close 5 abusive youth prisons, 5 prisons we closed in California following this man. And he didn't know our name. He didn't know our name. He didn't know anything about us. And so for me to be here tonight, getting an award from Al Sharpton, being on the stage of the Apollo, which I used to watch with my father, and to have him say that he thinks that what I'm doing is good. We have a lot of heroic people in our community. Just being black is heroic. But we don't have a lot of heroes who've been able to survive and endure and overcome and win and win and win. And for me, the person I'm chasing, he got TV show, I got TV show. Right? He wrote a book, I wrote a book. You know? He got organization, I got organization. You know what I mean? The man I'm chasing my whole life, and that I cannot tell you what it means to be here on the 65th birthday, is the Reverend Al Sharpton. Thank you, sir, for having me here.
Van Jones. Now, Van, you said you chasing me. Y'all not do a little James Brown music? I want to see how well. No. I'll let you slide tonight.